Hi, you guys. It's Jerusha again. It is Saturday, November 26th, and 2016. Um, I wanted to talk with you about freedom of speech. I also wanted to address some concerns regarding, so you may have noticed there are two videos that I have up. The most recent one is called White Male Privilege, and I will link to that one below, as well as the other one that got a lot of comments. Both of these videos got a lot of negative comments, and so I want to talk about that. Because I think that it's hard for a lot of people to deal with negative comments. There are several articles online about specifically YouTube, how to deal, if you're a YouTuber, how to deal with your negative comments that you get. And these are very, very informative and very helpful, beneficial, uplifting, encouraging, these articles for the most part. And so I will link to a few of them below. I also have done a little bit of research on the First Amendment and freedom of speech, because I know that there are limitations to freedom of speech. And so it was hard to find that in the regular internet. I mean, I did find some, but it was more about government, like limitations. Government and Congress can't make laws limiting various kinds of freedom of speech, and they other things are limitations to the First Amendment, and it mostly has to do with the government behavior about it. So even though some of you hate Wikipedia, as you've said in your negative comments, not to me, because I don't believe I even mentioned Wikipedia before, because I do know that it's kind of like one of those sources that you really can't totally always trust. I was always taught that in school, but it is very helpful. It's like an encyclopedia, except it's Wikipedia. So there are, in the Wikipedia article on freedom of speech limitations, it's very helpful and gives sources for the information regarding, especially like sources of like court cases regarding freedom of speech limitations. So YouTube has terms of use, and they also have a report feature that anyone can use, by the way, not just me as the YouTuber. And there's terms of use, and the terms of use do give us the right to delete comments or not publish comments if we feel that they're abusive, or really for any reason. But if you're violating the terms of use, you could also be sanctioned by YouTube. So I have not gone through and reported every single one, because there have been so many coming in, and it was kind of a delayed effect from the white male privilege video specifically. The other ones, from the one where I was crying for the America election night, when I got the election results, that very moment I started to live record my video on my response, and those responses came in a lot quicker. The one on white male privilege took several days before people seemed to start noticing it, watching it, and the comments started to come in. So if anybody else is out there, a YouTuber, or interested in how to respond to negative comments on your videos, also negative comments in general, sometimes it somewhat applies to, but a lot of times if you have a YouTube channel, it applies to that. It gives some very good constructive information for you to consider about this. And as a sensitive person, I find it to be very helpful at seeing the constructive ways of dealing with this. And also to, you can't always figure out from the very beginning if it's, even if there's offensive things in there, even if they're saying offensive things, it's not always, you can't always predict how they will respond back to you if you respond to them with, let's say, a certain amount of grace. So the other thing is, don't feed the trolls, right? But then when you have a YouTube channel, it's not like you're necessarily needing to feed the trolls. You're not feeding them. You are participating in conversation, which is an extension of your YouTube video, an extension of your channel. You're also interacting with people who have possibly very incredibly radically different opinions than you. And they're not always constructive opinions. But what I will say is this. Most of my viewers and subscribers have not been watching those videos. Or if they have, they haven't been commenting on them. And I will take that one of two ways. I will take that as they know not to feed the trolls, and I'm proud of them for that. I wouldn't want anyone to respond. I mean, of course, it's you guys' choice about what you want to do. I wouldn't want any one of my viewers to feel like they need to respond in a way that puts them out. You know, defending me or defending, being, arguing against these people who are being hostile and sharing opinions that are very, very against what there I was caught on that one, calling it we as humans, we as people of this time period. Things that most people know are offensive, wrong, out of line, and not going to help somebody, and more likely to be fighting words. In fact, in the Wikipedia article about limits to freedom of speech, they do talk about fighting words. And so I'm not sure if these comments fall into that category. I don't want to pick them apart too much. What I do want to say, though, is that there were so many comments coming in, and the only way for me to deal with them and approve them or not is to go on my laptop. And my laptop's been having issues, and it's kind of a hassle. So it's easier for me to deal with things on my mobile devices. But I have limited features for that. So at first, I said I was going to hold things for review and then approve them as I decided to. Since I was getting so many comments so quickly, I decided to just allow them to go through. So you guys feel free to respond if you feel like you have it in you emotionally to respond to these negative comments. But don't feel it's necessary, especially not for me. It's not necessary for me for you to respond to those negative comments if you disagree with those people. I think, okay, and I don't know how true this is, but I have mentioned this before. I think that some of this comes from people being suppressed for a long time. People not being allowed to say these things that are coming out. These offensive things that are non-PC, these people are saying. And so they haven't been allowed. It's not been acceptable. I don't believe it still is acceptable, but Donald Trump has set an example here of being able to get away with, to a certain extent, even though people tried to call him on it, getting away with really insulting things, and also pretty stupid things he said. Insulting, derogatory, bigoted, just a lot of things. He set a very poor example. Doesn't give an excuse though. So part of my rationale for letting these comments go through and letting them be there for now is that people are engaging. And if I'm not going to be taking it personally, and hopefully it's not hurting other people for them to be there, those comments. Hopefully people can set boundaries about that, not to read them if they're too insulting, because it's not necessary for you to get fired up towards these people. You don't want to get fired up, actually. That's in the articles about how to respond to negative comments. Don't get fired up. Don't get argumentative back. Don't get abusive back to them. I don't know. Be slightly thoughtful, but don't put yourself out in the thought processes going on in responding. I was really surprised there weren't more liberal comments on that one, because I think some of these things are common sense, but I don't want to respond to them that way, because that's diminishing them, these people with these ideas. And some of them are trolls for sure, and they've revealed themselves as trolls as they went on with the discussion, rebuttal to my rebuttal or other people's rebuttal. But I have had some good experiences. Some people, You know, even though we didn't agree, even though I didn't convince them, which I do not plan to, by the way, I'm never going to a conversation trying to convince somebody of something. It's a sure way of getting me too emotional and it won't work out. Yeah, it usually doesn't work out, so I don't try that. So I don't go into it that way. I have a perspective of leave them have their ideas because they're really set on them, and probably make it less likely for them to change their ideas if I argue against them. It's kind of like this psychology dynamic that happens where somebody gets more and more embedded in their position they took. Even if these people have perspectives that are varying, you know, analytical thinking, it starts in adolescent time and goes all throughout, but it really comes on strong during your adolescence. Analytical thinking meaning the ability to see things from multiple angles, multiple perspectives, hopefully. It's a developmental process. So I believe that some of these people that are making these negative comments have the ability to see things from multiple perspectives. It's not my job to make them see that or help them to see that at all. But I think that for them to have a forum to share some of these ideas that they have maybe felt or even still feel like they're going to be punched down by me or other people for sharing these ideas. I don't know. I think that there's something of quality there for them to be, for us, I don't know, just for it to be able to vent, of course. It doesn't always work. Sometimes it just promotes more hatred. So I wanted to tell you guys, I want to see what you guys think. Some of my subscribers are probably going to watch this one. Other people probably will too. But I wanted to discuss with you guys what's going on, because my subscribers are, I mean, a lot of my subscribers are really gentle, kind people, very peaceful. And that's what they've shown me, the ones that have commented and the ones who I follow their YouTube channels. Most of the people who have done the negative comments on my videos do not have a YouTube channel where they put themselves out there. So, there's that, you know, you got to consider they're not putting themselves out there for the most part. So I am. So of course they're going to attack me. I expected it. In fact, I even asked for people to like comment back, on this specific video. I wanted to hear comments. I expected to hear more people, who are liberal activists saying, I don't get it, that I'm not getting it, and how dare I be able to try to think about getting it because I'm white. I was expecting that. I didn't get that from them. I think that probably the people that I'm speaking about aren't paying attention to my video. They're not watching it. And good for them kind of too, because I don't want them to waste their energy on these people. So I did put myself out there, knowingly, by the way, put myself out there. The reason for me, one of the biggest reason for the whole YouTube channel and these videos that I put out, put it to a whole new level for me, is I am practicing. And I didn't know this from the beginning of doing my YouTube channel, by the way, but I am practicing for fulfilling my greatest potential, of course. And I don't even know what it is, but I know I have a lot of ideas and I really like teaching people, but I don't like teaching people in the traditional ways. And I also would rather talk to people, have an open discussion with people, teach people about things that I know about or don't know about, but especially things I do know more about. I want to do that to the people that are clients or people that are maybe dealing with mental health issues or struggles about the human condition, really. Those are the people I like talking to, not so much the professionals, not so much the academics, because those people, there's a lot of them that like talking to one another and they're comfortable in that sphere. So I don't feel like I need to do that. I don't think that's where my strength is. My strength is in talking to people down to earth. I don't have the largest vocabulary. I also don't have the smallest. But I have learned, especially in my line of work, but even when I go back home and interact with people who I'm related to distantly, because my family is pretty well known, because we have a town named after us. So in Pennsylvania. So I go back there and I meet distant relatives all the time. And so I'm a leader. I'm becoming a leader. And so that's another part of it, is like, I would love to do public speaking, but sometimes you can reach people a lot better through this mode right here. Because people can save it and watch it later when they find out about it. Sometimes it's years in the future. And you can touch more people that way. Because if you do a public speaking event, you're going to get a select group of people. You're going to get people that go there for that. You might miss quite a few people that you might want to access. Not everybody wants to go out to things. And also it's the scheduling thing. So I am practicing speaking. And I'm practicing speaking on my feet. Talking on my feet. Thinking on my feet. And responding to the critical things, the critical, the hostile, the negative. And I'm really, I think I'm doing fairly well about it, actually. And I have noticed lots of changes in the way that I think. It's also been a really good way for me to deal with stress in my life, which is very intense. And I can't even go into it. It's so intense, the stress that's going on in my personal life right now. And this really gives me, actually, you wouldn't believe I think it's so strengthening for me. It gives me strength. It gives me a sense of purpose. It gives me something to do that is very engaging. And I have ADHD, which I've told my subscribers before, my viewers before. But I have ADHD, adult ADHD, and I didn't know it until about 5 years ago. So, didn't get treatment for it. And what was my point about that? I'm serious. Well, for one thing, thinking on my feet is really hard. And although I think I have a lot to say, and I don't even know what it is yet, I know. Because for people with ADHD, for everyone, but it's important to be passionate about your job. It's important for everyone. But for people with ADHD, it is essential for you to be passionate about things you do. It's a motivating factor. Dopamine gets released in the brain. This is our theory. That dopamine is released in the brain from various things. It has to do with stimulation. It has to do with the reward system. So people with ADHD have sort of imbalances in and inconsistencies in dopamine transmission from neuron to neuron. So sometimes they've got too much, hyper kind of thing, or hyperactive mind. And sometimes the people with ADHD have less dopamine going from neuron to neuron in their brain. Or the dopamine may just it's skipping steps. So the dopamine not having enough at certain times keeps people with ADHD from, it makes them have a lot harder time getting motivated to do things. And so the key is, okay, don't get involved with drugs or alcohol to, deal with the ADHD, because that's a reward system too. Don't use food for that, more than is healthy for you. And, go for things that you feel passionate about and do that. Find something in everything you need to do. If you have to do it, there's lots of stuff we don't want to have to do. Pay bills, for instance. Try to find something in it that's motivating for you. Well, that's how it is for me. I'm finding things in here that are motivating for me. And it's a real, something you have to hone, the skill of being able to find something creative or motivating for you in the negatives. Not just being a junkie with, the video games or the shopping online stuff, which both of those things give the dopamine boosts. But honing other ways to do productive things and bring out your full potential by stimulating dopamine. So, I appreciate all the comments, really every single one. all the numbers go up, it's great, because you see, I'm not making money off of this. You see, I am not monetizing at this time. As of November 27th, 2016, I am not monetizing on my platform. So you're not seeing videos, you're not seeing ads before my videos currently. So I'm not making money off of this, but I do like to see more comments. I do like to see more views, because that helps. It helps. And I want I want to develop my channel. Okay. Not to make money either. I want to develop my channel for myself, to develop, really, to be developing, and learning and enriching my life. So, and maybe the lives of other people, who knows? So my viewers, the people that love me or like me or subscribers, try not to get too down about these negative people. Don't read it if you don't want to. I'm taking it well. You don't have to stick up for me either unless you feel like it. I like being able to let these people have their say, you know, and it's rare for me to be able to have this, you know, access to these kinds of comments, these kinds of people, these kinds of ideas and opinions that they're sharing with very little shame. It's kind of shameless the way that they're saying this stuff. This stuff, you guys have to read some of it. I mean, women's places in the kitchen, you know, that's a bait. They want to bait me. Oh my goodness. Well, so they don't know very much at all about me. They don't know what a hard-working family I came from. So poor in Pennsylvania, hard-working, poor family. Now living in Portland, Oregon, living in a super nice neighborhood in Portland, Oregon, in a very nice family, well-to-do. I have a master's education in a medical field where I'm able to prescribe medications. So I have a lot of experience, both kinds, and knowing how to communicate with people who have different educational backgrounds. I'm not saying these people don't have a education. I have no idea. But being able to communicate with them without saying such big words, you know, people are like, so many words, so many buzzwords. And I didn't want to like insult them back. I could have, but I didn't want to. I don't want to do that. I don't want to turn people off, unless they just are turned off. Can't control that. But I don't want to alienate them. That's the word. I don't want to alienate people. In my real life, I'm protective of myself and my emotional space, my personal space and everything. I'm protective of that. And it's my job to be. But on here, this is removed. I have distance from this. So I'm putting myself out there. I'm doing some controversial topics. I'm doing it intentionally because it's something that I've always shied away from. I've always shied away from political discussions. I don't like emotionally draining topics. ADHD, right? I mean, it's hard to stay on topic. And also, I might have an inclination I know something, but with ADHD, you don't always know exactly where it comes from. And that's hard when you're having these arguments, you know, discussions with people about these things, because your brain can't always retrieve information. You may know it's there, you may have the gist of it, but if someone says, where'd you hear that? Or what's your source? And what's the specifics? And just to be like, well, I don't know. I can't remember where I got it. I mean, it's easier for people to diminish that. So, but this is easier for me, you know. I can Google some of these words they're using on me, which I think is a good thing. Anything that motivates me to learn. Anything that motivates me to learn, and it's not really costing me any money to learn this kind of communication, life experience really. So that's what I wanted to say about the comments. Let me just say that. Possible trolling as well. And also I wanted to say, you know, I'm letting them go through right now. If you guys feel like reporting some of them, feel free. It's just a little flag on the side. I'm pretty sure you can hit report if you feel like it violates the YouTube terms of service, because I'm getting so many, I'm not going to be able to reply. I'm trying to reply to a lot of these, by the way, which is kind of interesting. Why would I be replying? Why would I reply? Well, A, I don't have to, but B, what do you think? Why am I replying? say that below. At the end of that video on white male privilege, I did ask for, let me have it. Let me have it. Come on. So I asked for that. You probably didn't get to the end of it. It was 57 minutes long, for goodness sakes. So long-winded I am. But I asked for it. I thought I would be getting it from more people of varying, more people on the other side of things, on the liberal side of things. But they may have seen it and just chosen not to. Totally, I understand that. If it wasn't my YouTube video, I probably would choose not to as well. I'm not a pro. I never took, I didn't major in gender studies, feminist studies, women's studies, blah, blah, blah. I did take some classes in it, but probably one, actually. And then I live in Portland, Oregon, which I get put down for that. Like, I live in this place where I'm getting communist propaganda percolated into me all the time. They're telling me. I don't think they know all of the stuff percolating in me. And they don't know where I come from. They don't know how hard my people worked. And my people didn't have slaves, by the way. They didn't even bring the slaves over. My people were here before the slaves. My original ancestors came here in between 1719 and 1729. That's when they came here. They started a town. It's named after us. Very proud of that, by the way. Not all of them were good people, because it's been like over 200 years since, you know, there's lots of people in my family now, extended family, huge. And yeah, we fought in the Revolutionary War. Yeah, we fought in the Civil War. Yeah, the Civil War wasn't just against slavery. Yeah, the Civil War, I know, was like about economic stuff, not just fighting for people's right to be free. Also, my family is German, Swiss German, and we came here a long time before Hitler was even born. So you can't blame us for that, my family. But you can probably blame us for being bad people. I bet there were lots of racist, bad people in my family. Probably still are, from where I come from. Lots of racism in the town that I came from in Pennsylvania. So, I still love those people, because they're people in addition to being racist, having racist behaviors and attitudes. So you guys may think that I'm just being way too positive, but I don't know. I'm just really exercising this way of staying calm and not getting hurt and bogged down by this, because believe it or not, I have way bigger problems than this. Bigger problems, I'm telling you. I'm not talking about my mental health. I'm not talking about, I've got big family problems. Big ones. Transitions are going to be happening. Big stuff. So, par for the course, right? Some days I wake up pretty sad. Pretty, like, not really ready to go in front of people. But this helps. This helps me right now. This has been helping me. So, do what works, right? I want to encourage everybody to make YouTube videos. I want to encourage everybody to have your own YouTube channels. I think it's wonderful with the technology that we have these days that we can publicize ourselves and our ideas, just like one person sitting in their house with an iPad, literally an iPad. And probably you have to have a laptop if you want to upload anything longer than like 14.5 minutes long, and you have to edit it together. But I really encourage people to put themselves out there, you know? You never know. People will like your personality. People will gravitate towards your personality. And you may develop your personality while you're on here. I have already seen some people that I follow and who follow me as subscribers that have really developed a lot. And it's beautiful from the time they've been on YouTube. I'm just so proud of them. I think that they are challenging themselves, and I think that's beautiful to see people challenging themselves. And maybe people on these comments, these negative comments, these haters or whatever you would call it, like, you know, Eugenia Cooney would call them haters. Lots of people call them haters on here. I think they're challenging themselves too.
They are taking the time to write this stuff down. And yeah, maybe they're unemployed. Who am I to say? Maybe they're living in their parents' basement. Who am I to say? Maybe they're trolls and they're living off the government, even though they're talking like they're against people to do that. I do not know their history or context. However, they're taking the time to type it out and interact, and maybe it falls apart, you know, as you read through. It's like, okay, that's falling apart. They're kind of like phoning it in. They're phoning it in. That's their prerogative. So let me know what you think about the haters or the people that are leaving the negative comments. Let me know what you think. I don't want to be contributing anything negative, but I also think it's somewhat important right now, this time, for people to have freedom of speech and to be exercising it even when it's hostile. But that's debatable. I may be wrong. I may be very wrong, and I may learn my lesson. So I really wanted to address it, though. Address the negative comments and why I'm allowing them through, even though a lot of them violate YouTube terms of service or whatever the heck, community guidelines and all that. So love you all. I really do. I really love you all, even if I won't say anything negative. But I do love you all. I really like people. So I know it's hard to believe. Probably a lot of you will not believe that I really do love you all, but I do. There's lots of different kinds of love, by the way. Acceptance. So doesn't mean I want all of you as my roommate or as my relative or whatever, but I still love you all. Okay. I'm not even going to tell you about my religious beliefs because who cares, right? Because the kind of love you all kind of thing kind of goes a little bit with Christianity, but it's not necessary for you guys to know my thoughts about Christianity. Unless you want to. If you want to, let me know. I'll consider it. In fact, if you want me to make a video about any of these comments, for instance, like responding to any of these lovely comments on here, if you'd like me to make a whole video about it, I will. I totally will consider it with my energy levels and all that. So, take care, you guys. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully you gained something from it. Hopefully you felt uplifted, positive, and even strengthened, I would hope. Strengthened by this. Hope I was able to give you something. All right, take care and look at the description below. If you like what you're seeing, subscribe and hit the like button, by the way. There's a lot of dislikes, okay? I don't mind. But feel free to hit the like button. It's free, and you don't even have to watch the whole video to hit the like button. Thanks a lot. Take care. I love you all. Bye-bye.